sure want to be here. We're going to try to do this in like 30 minutes. What we want to do is give an overview of what is coming and give you some ideas of what's going to happen at camp. We'll talk about, of course, dates and all that, and registration and how that's going to work. We have several handouts we'll send home with you, and then we'll answer questions and kind of go from there. So that's where we are. It shouldn't take too long unless there's lots of questions, but we'll get through it as quickly as we can. So let's pray. God, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for each person that's here, each person that's watching online, to be able to understand what is at stake for this summer and with the kids that are going to be at camp. And we pray that you will rise up leaders who will make an impact in children's lives that will last for a lifetime. And we pray that you begin to work in the hearts and the minds of the children that will be at camp this summer. We pray that you will draw them to yourself, that families will be excited about this camp and these camps, and that they'll send their kids and that their hearts would be ready to receive something that they will never be able to equal as they're there with you and with the group to be able to experience all that you have to offer at a camp like this. And so we just pray that all these things will work out in a beautiful way. Give us wisdom and strength to pull it off. We praise you for it all in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so let me introduce a couple people to you. My wife, Jennifer, if you don't know her, she'll be kind of our medical director over the camp. And we have 3 weeks of camp. We'll talk about that now. We've got 2 weeks covered for nurses, and actually kind of a half of the other week, but we need one more nurse. But that's exciting. We'll have registered nurses for all 3 camps there to make sure meds are passed appropriately and all the needs are taken care of. And then we have Dean and Deanna Campbell. And so one awesome thing about Deanna is that she grew up going to this campground. And so they are part of kind of the Dean team to help work on this. And we've been working, we spent a lot of hours and a lot of meetings working and trying to come together and plan out these things and how to pull this off. And so now we're inviting you in and to be a part of this and to build it and grow it from here. We've got a couple months, which I think is plenty of time to come up with we have a good plan in place, and now to invite you in and tweak that and get it to where it needs to be, and then make sure that we build curriculum teams and write the curriculum and all that, and we'll talk about that as we go. Some new things, like we created a little camp logo. We actually have like 6 of these as options, but we threw this out as just an idea of one of them, and we thought it was kind of cool that it would be a logo for the camp in general. And my AV guy left, and so we'll pull up the camp, the logo maybe for camp here in just a little bit. And so here are the dates for camp. First of all, if you have something to write with, that would be great. Actually, let's do this. If I could have Campbell's help me, let's pass out this Bradley Camp registration form and the websites, and that'll have that on there. So what you'll see in this, this is a registration form that we're going to have the kids fill out. Now, one thing that's going to be way different this year than we've done in years past is make sure that they register ahead of time if possible. In years past at this campground, they've tried to do the show up and just whoever shows up we do camp with, and that's okay. But we're going to try to really push pre-registrations for camps this year so we know what we're going to have. That will allow us to do several things. It'll allow us to make sure we have t-shirts for the kids, which is going to be built into the camp cost. It'll make sure that we have enough people and we have enough resources and all that good stuff. And so this is going to be the registration form. Now, if you look at the second sheet that you're getting, which says pertinent information and websites for Camp Bradley, you'll see there is a new website. This is bradleychristiancamp.com. That is alive and well, but there's some information that's missing, and we're going to finish that up this week, and that'll have all the information. That's going to be a general website for the campground for anyone that's going to come and rent it for retreats and activities and events. And so there's some generic information on it right now, but we're going to try to push people toward that camp website. So if you go back and you're representing other churches, this would be a great place to push the families to get them to, because they can register online. There's also a Facebook page, which you can see there, facebook.com/Bradley Christian Camp, and that's already got like 250 likes on it, which is awesome. This would be something for you to go back and share with your families that are on Facebook and try and get them to like it so we can get more camp updates and information. And then the big difference, again, between this year and years in the past is registration online. So you have 3 links there at the bottom, and these are for the 3 weeks of camp. And so what you would do if you're at junior camp, if you have kids going into 3rd through 5th grade, they would be June 9th to the 13th. That's Monday through Friday. And they would click on that link, not them probably, I'm guessing their parents would click on that link, and they can actually fill out the camp forms right online. They're fillable PDFs that we created. This registration form is one of the forms. There's a medical form also. I didn't give that to you because it's not really that important right now. But the medical form will be there. They'll be able to fill all that information out, pay with their credit card, and they're registered. It's $100 for camp. It will be $120 if they register within a couple days of camp. And what the reason for that is because we'll have to have a t-shirt printed for them, quick turnaround, and it'll cost more money. And so it's kind of a little bit of a penalty for registering late, and that's just how it goes. But if they register, pre-register, get it online, that's good. Now, if they just can't figure out how to do it online or they don't have a credit card, they can print one of these forms out, send in a check, and we can take care of it that way. But hopefully, we can get everybody to do it online, and it keeps everybody in the database. So the camp registration form is pretty simple. Junior week, again, June 9th to the 13th. Junior high week is June 15th through 20th. That's Sunday afternoon through Friday late morning. And then senior high week is going into 9th through 12th, which is June 22nd, which is Sunday, through the 27th. Jennifer, do you have something to say? I gave everybody a form right here. It's right on the front page of the registration form. So on the front page of the registration form has those dates. It'll look for the personal information from the kids. And then activities is at the end of the page 1. And so activities then, we're going to add some activities this year. And we may not pull all these off, but we're going to hopefully get the kids to number in their order of preference. Depending on how many kids come to camp, in each week will depend on whether or not they get to really pick and choose or not. If we have a small turnout, and this is kind of a new rebuilding year, if we have a small turnout, we may not give them all the options, but hopefully our camps will be full, and we'll be able to get this done that way. But we'll have options for fishing. We're working on getting the little lake in order so that they can fish. Boating, one of the things we could use are more paddle boats and rowboats. We have one of each that have been donated for the camp, which is great. Crafts and kickball and wiffle ball. Archery is going to be a new thing that we're going to add this year as an elective. And air rifle or .22 rifle. Haven't quite decided how to do that. Probably .22 rifle will just be for the older kids, but we can do air rifle for the small kids. Foursquare, tetherball, sand volleyball, games, horseshoes, and horseback trail riding. We're going to try and get someone down there that has a horse to come up a couple days a week and give kids rides on the horses, kind of a trail ride. So those would be some of the elective possibilities. On the back side of that, you have some other information like a canteen card. One of the things we're going to have the kids do is when they come to camp to register, they can bring money with them. They will, in essence, check the money in, and we're going to keep track of that money on a canteen card for them in the canteen. Everything in the canteen will be 50 cents, and so at canteen time, if they come up and get a soda pop and a candy bar, it's $1, and we'll basically just mark that dollar off their form. So if they bring 20 bucks, it's just a de-escalating scale as it goes off, and when they're out of money, they're out of money, that kind of thing. And that way, we're not worried about theft, because that's always one of those things, oh, I can't find my $5, someone stole it, and then everything's crazy. And so we're going to have them turn it in day one. We don't have to worry about it. At the end of camp, they don't use it all, we'll give them their money back. What to bring, what not to bring, cell phone policy, baptism policy, because kids often want to be baptized at camp. And so we just talk about, we'll contact you first, we'll just let you know. So some parents would want to come down and go and be a part of that. And then the last thing on this is want to go to camp for free. What we're going to try to do this year is a referral program. And so basically here's how it would work. I want to go to camp, I register online, I pay my $100, and then I am going to go and sign up 10 of my friends who all register, and when they show up for camp and they pay, at the end of camp, if they've all come, I get a $10 credit for every kid that I refer, and they sign up and go to camp. Does that make sense? And so at the end of the camp, we basically, if you had 6 kids that you invited, and they paid, and they came to camp, at the conclusion of camp, we will write a check for $60 back to your parents and send it back. This is just one of those incentive things that says, if you don't have the money for camp, invite 10 of your friends, get them to register at camp, and you get your money back. which I think is a great thing that we can do. Okay, so that is the camp registration form for the kiddos, and again, that is online. It's going to be online, and we're going to start pushing that with the churches and get that information out there. Okay. The next thing is the camp schedule. So if I could get some help and pass out the camp schedule. Now, this inevitably will tweak a little bit here and there, but this is a general push toward camp. The only week that's going to be different than what you see here is junior camp, because junior camp does not come on Sunday. Junior camp comes on Monday morning, and they'll come at about, I think it was between like 9 or 9:30 and 10:30 would be registration for camp, and then we would jump in the morning time with the kids. I think that's right. And so we'll have that out there. But this is the general layout for camp. Sunday afternoon, we want to have the kids go ahead and eat dinner off-site rather than cook dinner on Sunday. That's a new thing for this year. Usually we do dinner. We're going to have the kids eat dinner off-site with their family, come check in at camp from 5:30 to 7, and 7 to 8:30 is going to be an opening session, and we're going to encourage the parents to stay, and we're going to have a worship team there, play music, and have a camp kickoff. It'll be a rah-rah, let's get excited, and lay out for us the theme of what the year's going to be. John, can you go hit the next image button that's on that folder, please? And we'll lay that out for you. So, and then cabin prayers, cleanup, lights out. And then Monday through Thursday, the general feel is going to be 6:15 to 7, counselor coffee. If the counselors want to get up early and go have coffee, we'll make it the CIT, which is counselor in training's job, to get the kids up and going in the morning. That's always fun. Sorry, CITs, but that's how it goes. This is our theme for the year. This is what we're going to try to do this summer, is the theme of Seek, which is really easy. And so when we start to write curriculum, which is going to be whoever is going to be the preaching team and teaching team and all that, we'll work out of this, and we have some different things that we'll show you on the schedule that I think will make sense to you, but the idea and the theme is going to be Seek. So we'll get them up in the morning, rise and shine, flag raising, Devo, prayer, and talk time, which is time alone with God. They'll have breakfast, cabin cleanup, and KP duty. If you look on the back side, there's a KP duty, kitchen cleanup, and what you see here is red, green, and blue. The way the cabins are, if you've not been there to Camp Bradley, is it's a huge cabin for girls that will sleep like 44 people, and then a huge cabin for boys that will sleep 44 people. And what we're going to do this year is break the cabins up so that inside the one big cabin, there's actually 3 cabins. There'll be a red cabin, a blue cabin, and a green cabin, and that will have a sister cabin or a brother cabin with the boys. So the boys will be red, green, and blue. The girls will be red, green, and blue, and some of the activities will be within the cabins. And so that's part of how we'll do it, and how we'll do it with counselors and CITs. Even though it'll be in one big dorm, they'll be separated that way. It'll help us do KP duty and activities in the evenings and campfire and that kind of stuff, okay? Let's see, so we go through, have breakfast, cabin cleanup, then we'll have a class in the morning, then an elective, canteen, give them a morning snack, worship and training, which is basically more teaching, and some music, lunch and letters, which is always a fun time. Hopefully parents will send letters in. We'll have free time and KP duty. We're going to have a nap time this year at camp. That's always good. Recharge them a little bit. Forced quiet time in their bunks. And if they sleep, they sleep. By Tuesday or Thursday, they'll sleep. So maybe not Monday. And then playtime. And so one of the new things this year is we're going to have a pool this year. This camp's never had a pool. We're going to have a pool but we're going to separate the swim times. And we'll have the girls will have their own swim time, and while the boys are doing other activities and electives, and then they'll switch, and the boys will have their swim time. And we just think that's appropriate, and keep everybody separate, because we don't need less clothing and for preteen kids to run around like that. So that's just how it goes. Then we'll do large group fun. We'll have different activities again on that second page. It's not printed on there, but we'll have some activities: cleanup, dinner, free time, KP time, and then a main session in worship. That's where we're going to hope we'll have teams come in to do worship. It might be different in the evenings. And some of these evening sessions will have different themes. So like one of the nights of the week is going to be focused on missions and missionaries. And Dr. Terry Cox in the back will actually be coming down to camp for that and sharing about Daryl's Music Makers, which is a mission, a foreign mission to other countries where they're training people about Jesus through music and training children. And that'll be the mission message. and talking about that. And each night we'll have a different theme that will tie in with that, because the history of Bradley is Bradley Christian Service Camp. How do we serve and how do we get out and do things? And so part of that is, in our Seek theme, is seeking the lost. So what we'll have is themes of seeking God, seeking your neighbors, seeking seeking the lost, seeking people from other parts of the world, and then coming back to seeking God will be how that kind of will work and wrap together. Night light activity, again, we have a schedule on the back, so we have capture the flag, water night, scavenger hunt, and that kind of stuff, and then getting ready for campfire, and then prayers and reflections. Each cabin will have a specific time of reflections. We'll write questions, and that'll be very purposeful time where they're going to go through questions with their cabin and pray and clean up and go to bed. And that's the general layout for how that camp schedule is going to work. Okay? Any questions about camp schedule? Awesome. All right, so here are the positions that we need. If we can go ahead and pass out the last two forms. And if you're watching online and you need these forms, email me. My email address is spencer@renewcabot.org. So SPENCER @renew, RENEW, Cabot, CAB as in boy, OT as in Tom.org. And I will email you these forms. All right, so here are the positions that we need help with. We need camp counselors. For each week of camp, we need 6. And so that would be basically, in the girls' cabin, we'll have 3 counselors for red, green, and blue team, and we need 3 boy counselors, red, green, and blue. And they're going to do those general tasks. We need 10, if we can, 10 CITs, which are counselors in training. This would be at least a few years older than the campers themselves. So for instance, junior camp is going into 3rd through 5th grade. We would say probably 15 or 16 is the right age for a CIT for them. And each individual kid, we're going to have to talk through that and make sure they're mature enough to handle it. But they would come, and they have duties and responsibilities to lead the kids, lead the activities, and do different things. And they're a very important part of this, okay? And then, but we need a lot of kids. So like for the junior high camp, which is going to be going into 6th through 8th grade, probably 10th grade, 10th, 11th, and 12th, or 11th and 12th, it just depends on the kid, or early college age, would be great counselors in training. And hopefully what would happen if some of you guys jump in there and you're counselors in training for a couple of years, you'll be ready to jump right into being a counselor after high school, and you would be one of the charge, okay? Camp nurse, again, we need 1 more camp nurse. One of the things we'll do different this year is have a camp cleanup crew and a camp setup crew. This is for people that can't come and stay the week, but they want to come down on a Friday afternoon and help clean up stuff, a Friday morning preferably, and help clean, and really make sure the camp is totally and perfectly clean. We have the campers do most of it, but if we get 2 or 3 people to come down and really clean, deep clean, and make sure it's ready for the next camp, or make sure it's ready for the end of the season, and then come down and set up and help us set up tables, get everything set up, activities, events, and things like that. Those would be weekend type opportunities. We need a kitchen crew, 2 to 3 people each week that will be cooking and taking care of the kitchen. We need curriculum writers. Now here's the thing, on curriculum writing, some of that will be the same as our camp counselors, and some of it will be the same as the pastors and teachers and things like that will be on here that you'll see. But if you can't go to camp but you want to help develop curriculum, you're invited to do that. We need people that will do crafts. We do need a licensed lifeguard for each week, and that'll be an important one that we find. A worship leader. Junior camp is covered. We have the worship leader covered. My sister is actually going to come down and lead worship the whole week of junior camp. She's a music teacher in Wichita, Kansas, and so she's going to come down and take care of worship, which will be great. So we'll do some of that together. She's a musician and a singer, and then hopefully we can get our youth worship team to come down and do stuff for junior high camp and senior high camp, and we'll intermix it with some others and have the adults come down in the evenings that are part of our worship team, and others if they're interested. We need a marketing team, which will basically be people that say, I will be purposeful about getting this information in the hands of all the churches around that might support this, and that will help get the message out. Booklet creators that will put together a booklet for each camper, along with a goodie box. One of the things we want to do is when the kids register online, we put together a goodie box for them, and a couple weeks before camp, we send them a goodie box in the mail. And this goodie box will have some things that they'll need, and of course half of them will forget it. But it's going to have some fun stuff in there, and light sticks and their t-shirts and stuff like that, and hopefully they'll get that, and that'll get them excited and keep them excited in case they're nervous about coming to camp. So those are the camp positions that we need. And then the last piece is this Camp Bradley Summer Camp staff application. And so everyone that wants to participate has to fill out a camp application. What now? Thank you. And so this is a one-page general camp form. It's an application, has your information on it, some questions like, I'm committed, baptized believer, I have been attending church on a regular basis, I've kept an active, committed, and growing relationship with the Lord this year, that kind of thing. Of course, we want people that are totally in for Christ and understand that, because you're going to be leading kids to the cross. And it makes sense to say there's kind of a standard there. Church name, address, phone, pastor name, we probably will call the pastor, make sure that is, that they feel comfortable with that person serving. And then please indicate to the right the positions in which you're interested, as well as camp sessions and dates. And so you could do more than 3, just write it on the back, but this would be what kind of positions based on the form that I just went through. These are the positions needed. You would put those in there along with the camp session and the dates. And then we've got some background information. Now here's the thing, there's only 2 questions on there. You will have to fill out a full background check next month if you end up being part of this. But this is just enough to get us started. And then basically camp skills assessment, which we just have some general things on there that you would list where your strengths are. And so basically it is, 1 is you know the activity, you know what it is. 2, you're skilled in the activity, you could do it. 3, you could lead the activity, you could be in charge of it. 4, you have led the activity before, which means you've had experience doing this. And 5, you're you're certified, or you can supervise and instruct someone on how to do these things. And so if you can go through that, and then any special skills and what a camp experience. And so what we'll do at that point is the dean team will get together, we'll pull all these together, look through them, and we will probably call you and go, yeah, we would love for you to be at camp. This makes sense. We're going to have you in these, and we'll try and do that next week. And from there, what we'll do is, for anyone that's going to be teaching or developing any of these lesson plans, we will put you in touch with the other people that will be part of that week and part of that team, and then we'll get some time where we're writing curriculum together. And over the next 30 days or so, we'll start writing that curriculum. And then on May 10th is a Saturday, and we need you to come down. It is mandatory that you would come down to the campground May 10th for 3 to 4 hours of training, Saturday morning. And we're going to train you on all the safe kid principles, things like, never one-on-one with campers, that kind of stuff, but also a little bit of first aid, how to take care of this and that and whatever, and then specialized training. It'll also be time for us to work on curriculum, finish that up. 1 second. We'll finish up curriculum stuff. The nurses will train us on things. We'll get the background checks filled out and get those submitted. And then from that point on, we'll still meet probably a couple more times, at least on the phone, for whoever's teaching, and make sure that curriculum's set so that we're ready to go. Okay? So that's the general layout. Yes?
Is the staff application online?
The staff application is not online because I finished it this afternoon. About an hour before I walked in this building. So if you guys can fill it out, that'd be great. If you want to take it with you and scan it and email it to me, you can. Or wait a few days and I'll get it online. I just didn't have time to get it done. Okay, yes?
It will have a health form that needs to go with it as well.
Yeah, on that day, on May 10th, you will have to fill out a health form for yourself so that the nurse knows how to take care of you if you keel over because you're diabetic or something, and we know about it. So one of the things with having a registered nurse at all the camps, they're going to be very tight with the medication, make sure the medication is under control, it's locked up, not everybody just has access to it, and all that stuff. So that's going to be very important for everybody, okay? So next steps, I would say a couple things. 1, if you have a pen, write this down. We're going to have 2 work days at the campground. 1 is April 25th and 26th. April 25th and 26th. That is a Friday and Saturday. Here's what that will do. Friday afternoon, some of us are going to go down to the camp, and we're going to start working on projects. We have a big, long list of projects to get done before camp. And we're just going to go down, we're going to hang out, and that night we're just going to have a campfire, and we'll eat together, and we're just going to have a good time. Saturday, we're just going to work like dogs until about 2 o'clock probably, and then we'll clean up and we'll head home. So 25th and 26th is one work day, and then the other work day is May 9th and 10th, which is the same day of our training. So hopefully what will happen is while we're down there in training, 2 things will happen. We'll have about 20 other people there working on the camp, getting things set up and ready. That'll probably be the work weekend we put the pool in, would be my guess. And then after we're done with our training, 11 or 12 o'clock that day, if you can stay for 2 or 3 hours and help work on the camp, then we'll do that. But otherwise, we'll be in that on Saturday morning. But again, you don't have to come Friday and spend the night at the camp. I think you should, because it would be fun, and you get to stay in the campground that we're going to stay in. But if you want to come down Saturday morning, you can. It'll take you about an hour and 35 minutes from this building. It's really not that far away. So that's what's coming up. Last things on that, if you have things to donate, here's what we need. If you want to donate money to the camp for us to purchase some things, we would love that. We need to buy some supplies, like tetherball, and we need to buy some more kickballs and wiffle balls. But if you also just want to donate that stuff, use wiffle balls and bats, kickballs. I would love another ping pong table that is functional. We have 2 that are down there that need work. We might be able to fix them, but if you have a ping pong table in your garage that's not being used, let us have it and we'll take it to camp. Okay. Same thing with foosball and any of those other table games. Cornhole, I think is what people call it down here in the South. That kind of stuff. We could use, Bag 'em, whatever. All right, and so, and then we need some shooting equipment, and so we need recurve or straight bows, and we probably need 5 of those, and we need good pellet guns or .22 rifles that are in good working condition. Those you don't have to donate; you can loan them to us, and we'll utilize those for the camps. Okay. So that's what we need. Other than that, I think we're in good shape. May 10th, again, is a mandatory day for anybody that wants to come and be a part of the camp, and it's 7:04. We did it in 30 minutes. So any questions for me? Yes?
Are we meeting at the camp, or will we meet here in kind of caravan?
We can totally caravan, and I mean that's no problem. We'll put it on. We will put that stuff on that Facebook page for the camp, and it'll be, hey, if you want to come down for the training, here are the dates. I think it would make sense for us to caravan, and probably what we'll do is we'll take the church van down there, and so we can take probably 12 people with luggage, and that and that would be fine. We'll leave on Friday afternoon. I don't know what time, but we'll figure it out, and then we'll come back Sunday or Saturday afternoon. Any other questions? Awesome. Okay, none of you thought I could do that in 30 minutes. I know Kelly said no. So, you guys thought it could?
No, I didn't.
I can't even preach a sermon in 30 minutes. All right, so thank you for being here. If you want to hang out and fill out that camp form, that's great. Otherwise, contact me. Again, here's what's going to happen next. After we get the camp registration forms, and if you know other people that should come to this, you need to get this information in their hands, because we're going to need more camp counselors and more CITs that are what are in this room. Now, I have several people who've told me they're in, they just couldn't make it to the informational meeting, and we might have another informational meeting or 2 over the next 30 days. We know we can pull this off, or we'll have them go to the website. We'll put that up on YouTube, and they can go watch it later, and that works too. But by May 10th, we need to know who all's coming for sure, because curriculum will be mostly written by then, if not completed by then, hopefully. But May 10th, we'll finish that curriculum. Everybody will know exactly what we're doing, and then we'll have 30 days to fine-tune and tweak that stuff, and we'll go from there. Okay? All right. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions. And other than that, we're going to turn this over, and the band's going to start getting set up so they can do their thing. But you can hang out. I'm sure they won't start hitting the drums for at least 10 minutes.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay. All right. Yes. I would rather you fill that out on that. Hey, that was just a sample. If you're a camper and you want to fill out the camp registration form, I really don't want you to fill out the... Okay, we can make another copy. Anyway, don't fill out the camp registration form here. Do it online if you can.